The fluorescent lights of downtown Chicago flickered against the evening rain as Marcus Chin navigated the slick sidewalk, his white cane sweeping in practiced arcs before him. The city hummed with its usual symphony: distant sirens, the hiss of bus brakes, the chatter of pedestrians hurrying home. Marcus had lived in this neighborhood for 15 years, long before the gentrification pushed rents skyward and long before Vincent Kane decided he wanted to own it all. Marcus was a former Army Ranger, blinded by an IED in Kandahar 7 years ago. He'd returned home to Pilsen, the neighborhood where his immigrant parents had raised him, and rebuilt his life one careful step at a time. His apartment was modest, his routine precise, and his past something he rarely discussed. Tonight, as he approached his building, he felt it, a shift in the air, the kind of tension that preceded violence. "Look what we got here," a voice called out, dripping with mockery. "The blind Chinese guy. What are you, lost?" Marcus stopped at the base of his stoop. 5 men stood blocking his path, their shadows merging in the amber glow of the streetlight. He could smell cigarette smoke and cheap cologne. "I live here," Marcus said evenly. "Let me pass." Laughter erupted. The leader stepped forward. Marcus could hear the creak of leather, sense the bulk of the man's frame. "You don't get it, do you? This block's changing. Mr. Kane wants quality tenants. Not your kind." Marcus's jaw tightened. "My kind? Yeah. Blind, foreign, taking up space. Kane's cleaning house, and you're first on the list." The White Dragon Gang had been terrorizing Pilsen for months, operating under Vincent Kane's protection. Kane was a real estate mogul with political connections and a vision: transform the neighborhood into luxury condos, displacing anyone who couldn't afford the new rent. The White Dragons did his dirty work: intimidation, arson, assault. Marcus tilted his head slightly. "Tell Kane if he wants to talk, he can come himself. You're leaving. Now." The leader's voice turned cold. "You got a death wish, blind man?" "No," Marcus replied softly. "But you're about to have a very bad night if you don't walk away." The first punch came fast. Marcus felt the displacement of air and shifted his weight, letting the fist sail past his ear. His cane snapped up, cracking against the attacker's wrist. The man yelped, stumbling back. 2 more rushed him. Marcus moved like water, dodging, striking with surgical precision. His cane became an extension of his body, blocking a kick, sweeping legs. 1 man went down hard, clutching his knee. Another caught an elbow to the solar plexus and crumpled. The remaining 3 hesitated. "What the hell is this guy?" one muttered. The leader pulled a knife. "I'm ending this." He lunged. Marcus sidestepped, caught the knife hand, twisted. The blade clattered to the pavement. A swift strike to the temple, and the leader collapsed. The last 2 fled into the night. Marcus stood breathing steadily, his ears tracking their retreat. Across the street, curtains twitched. Neighbors watched but didn't intervene. Fear had paralyzed Pilsen. He knelt beside the groaning leader. "Who's Kane? What's his operation?" The man spat blood. "You're dead. Kane owns half the cops. You think you can stop him? Where does he operate?" "The warehouse, on Ashland. But you'll never get near it." Marcus zip-tied the men's hands using supplies from his apartment, then called his neighbor, Sofia Martinez. She arrived minutes later, a community organizer in her 40s with fire in her eyes. "Marcus, what happened?" "Kane's making his move. I need help." Over the next week, Marcus assembled a team. Sofia knew everyone. She recruited Diego, a mechanic who'd lost his shop to Kane's pressure tactics, and Yuki, a journalist who'd been investigating Kane's corruption. They met in Sofia's community center, a cramped space decorated with murals of Pilsen's history. "Kane's running a money laundering operation through that warehouse," Yuki explained, spreading documents across the table. "Dummy corporations, fake renovations, cash from God knows where. He's buying up properties through intimidation and fraud." Diego cracked his knuckles. "And the White Dragons do his muscle work. Half of them are ex-cons he recruited." Marcus traced the map with his fingers, reading the tactile markers Sofia had added. "We need evidence. Financial records, recordings, anything that ties Kane directly to the crimes." "The police won't help," Sofia said bitterly. "Captain Morrison's in Kane's pocket. He's buried 3 investigations already." Marcus nodded. "Then we find someone who isn't dirty. But first, we get the evidence." They planned meticulously. Diego rigged motion sensors and noisemakers, distractions to pull guards away. Yuki identified patrol patterns through surveillance. Sofia kept the community calm, ensuring no one tipped off Kane's network. Marcus spent hours reviewing the warehouse layout, memorizing every detail. His blindness forced him to rely on sound and touch, but his military training had prepared him for this. He'd operated in pitch-black caves in Afghanistan. A warehouse was nothing new. The night of the operation arrived cold and windy. Marcus wore dark clothes, his cane replaced with a compact tactical baton. Diego dropped him 2 blocks from the warehouse. "You sure about this?" Diego asked. "I'm sure. Start the distractions in 10 minutes. Marcus approached the warehouse on foot, his ears mapping the space. Guards talked near the entrance, 4 of them, maybe 5. Inside, machinery hummed, and voices echoed. Diego's first distraction went off a car alarm 3 blocks north. Shouts erupted as guards rushed toward it. Marcus slipped through a side door. The warehouse smelled of motor oil and mildew. He moved silently, his fingers brushing walls, counting steps. The layout matched his mental map perfectly. A guard appeared ahead. Marcus waited until the man passed, then struck a quick blow to the back of the neck. The guard dropped without a sound. He reached Kane's office, a converted shipping container in the warehouse's center. Inside, Marcus found file cabinets and a computer. He couldn't read the screen, but he photographed documents with a camera Sophia had equipped with audio cues. He also found a recorder, Kane's own device, containing his voice detailing bribes and threats. "Jackpot," Marcus whispered, then footsteps pounded outside. Guards were returning. Marcus grabbed the evidence and moved toward the exit. A guard spotted him. "Hey! Stop!" Marcus ran, navigating by memory and sound. Behind him, chaos erupted. He triggered Diego's second distraction, fireworks outside the east wall. Guards scattered. Marcus burst through the side door and sprinted into the night. Diego's van appeared at the corner, and Marcus dove inside. "Go!" They sped away, leaving confusion behind. Back at the community center, they reviewed the hall. Yuki's eyes widened. This is enough to bury him. Bank records, recorded threats, payoff schedules. Kane's done. "We need to get this to the right person," Marcus said. "Someone clean." Sophia had been making inquiries. Detective Laura Chen. She's new, transferred from the state police. No local ties, no debts to Kane. They arranged a meeting in a public park. Detective Chen, a sharp-eyed woman in her 30s, listened to their story and examined the evidence. "This is explosive," she said quietly. "But if I move on this, Kane will know. He's got eyes everywhere." "Then move fast," Marcus said. "And trust no one inside the precinct except people you brought with you." Chen nodded. "I'll need 48 hours to coordinate with the state attorney. Stay low." Those 48 hours felt like 48 days. Marcus stayed in his apartment, listening to the city's rhythm. Then, early on the 3rd morning, pounding shook his door. "Marcus Chen." Vincent Kane's voice boomed. "Open up." Marcus grabbed his baton and positioned himself in the center of the room. The door burst open. Kane entered with 6 men, his presence filling the space. "You've been busy," Kane said, his voice smooth and menacing. "Breaking into my property. Stealing my files. Did you really think I wouldn't find out?" "I think you're finished," Marcus replied calmly. Kane laughed. "Finished? I own this city. The cops, the aldermen, the judges. You're just a blind nobody who doesn't know when he's beaten." "Your cops aren't coming," Marcus said. "Detective Chen's already moved on your operation. Your warehouse is being raided right now." Kane's smile faltered. He pulled out his phone, dialed. No answer. He tried again. Still nothing, his face darkened. "You're lying." "Am I?" Kane lunged, but Marcus was ready. The fight was brutal. Kane was larger, but Marcus was trained. They crashed through furniture, trading blows. Kane landed a punch to Marcus's ribs, but Marcus countered with a strike to Kane's knee, then his jaw. Kane collapsed, gasping. Sirens wailed outside. Detective Chen burst in with a tactical team, weapons drawn. "Vincent Kane, you're under arrest for money laundering, extortion, witness intimidation, and about 20 other charges," Chen announced. Kane was dragged away, still protesting his innocence. A week later, Marcus sat in Sophia's community center, surrounded by neighbors. The news played on a small TV. Kane and 12 associates, including Captain Morrison, had been indicted. The White Dragons had scattered. "You did this," Sophia said softly. "You saved the neighborhood." Marcus shook his head. "We all did. Together." As he walked home that evening, the city felt different. Lighter. Children played on stoops. Families talked on porches. Pilsen was healing. Marcus had spent years believing his blindness defined him, limited him. But tonight, navigating the familiar streets, he realized something. His disability hadn't stopped him from standing up when it mattered. Neither had the prejudice he'd faced his entire life. Was just a man who refused to back down, and sometimes, that was enough.